Good evening, Yas. Welcome to Cop Talk tonight. Long time no see on the channel. You're missed, as you know. You have a big fan base out there, and you shouldn't be depriving the people of your, wisdom. So please.
Yeah, well, these contractual disagree, but now that we've reached an amicable settlement, hopefully I'll be on a lot more often. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Always like.
But you've been doing a very good job in the meantime on your own sometime.
I've been trying. I mean, as you know, I've got other things going on, but listen, always time for Liverpool. Always time.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tonight I just wanted to have a quick review of the Rangers game, and then obviously preview the big one tomorrow. Let's start with Rangers. What did you think of it?
I don't know. I think, you watch the game and you're happy with what you see. I mean, there's no denying that. Clearly, there was a different formation, which looked quite exciting, accommodating Jota and Nunes, Salah and Diaz, very exciting. But I think they're a championship side at best, really, Rangers. They're not a great side. And, if you looked at a few of the bits of the game, I mean, they were, you were not going to get that kind of time in the Premier League against the worst sides. There was a couple of times where I remember Diaz was just they were backing off him, and he was just, he had yards of space to run into with the ball, and they were nowhere near them. So, yes, we won the game. Yes, we needed to win the game. But a very, very fine line as a Liverpool fan at the moment to be hoodwinked, if you like, with mediocrity. Rangers, average side. Bournemouth, probably they've turned the corner since they changed manager at the moment, but when we played them, they were terrible. So we had two, that Bournemouth was a very convincing win, and then you think, oh, right, we're going to kick on from it. So we've won the game. I mean, there's bigger issues at Liverpool than just winning a game against Rangers, but I like the new formation. I like the fact that he's recognised that we need to play a different formation as well, because I think, and we spoke about it in the week, the old system, the Mane system, the pressing system, the 4-3-3 system, we're getting different players to do the same job as what other people did, but non-effective or not as effective. So he has to, find a plan B. And I don't know what we do tomorrow. If we go back to 4-3-3, I'll prefer to see us play actually the same as what we did against Rangers. I'll prefer to see a different system, because up until we played Rangers, whoever we were playing would have been setting up to play against us with 4-3-3. So I don't know. Rangers was a good result. We won the game. We were entitled to win the game. We haven't fallen so far down the pecking order from, 4 finals last year, if you like, 3 cup finals and a last game of the season final. We haven't fallen that far down where we're going to make hard work of Rangers at home. So good result, but I was encouraged by Nunes. The guy's clearly trying hard. I've heard people take the piss out of him, calling him Andy Carroll and this and that. But, clearly there's a centre forward in the Premier League that's new to it this season that's ripping it up. We know that. Now, looking at Nunes the other day encouraged me, because he's getting chances, first and foremost. Secondly, he's making the runs. So he's getting into the positions to get the shots away. Now, yes, he can, probably sharpen up his boots a little bit and be a bit more clinical on his side, but that doesn't worry me. If a centre forward is willing to make a run and he's getting his shots off, the goals will come. I'm very, very confident of that.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the Rangers game, I was pretty underwhelmed. I'll be honest with you. It was a strange feeling. Yeah, we won the game, and I was happy we won the game, obviously. But they're such a poor team. I mean, I was surprised. I thought it would be more difficult. I thought it was going to be more of a challenge of a game. I'm pretty sure next week when we play them in their ground, it's going to be different. They can't be that poor again. They were shocking. Like you said, the time that we had, they were very passive. We get more opposition from a championship team, than we did from Rangers, I would have thought there. But look, what encouraged me is what you touched on, that he changed that formation and he's adapted, done something different. He knew he recognized he had to do it. And for him, I know that was tough because he's a stubborn guy and he likes to stick with what he knows, that 4-3-3. But I think by changing it, it made us look a bit more solid.
Well, now, I mean, what you've got to realise is he can't. Now, tomorrow we can go and play Arsenal, and it wouldn't surprise me if we went back to 4-3-3 because it's all well and good at training, setting up and having all these brain waves. Let's play 4-2-3-1. Let's play 4-3-2-1. Let's play. They're just numbers. He couldn't, for example, have gambled on a formation in the Premier League. Now they recognised Rangers at home was about as easy as it's going to get this season.
Yeah.
So if we're going to start experimenting with a new system, what a better place than Rangers at home are you going to get? Rangers at home, you know what, we don't work for 60 minutes. We'll revert to what we know best and we'll win the game still. So that was a little bit of an exploratory experiment on our behalf, I think. And for us, watching the game, we liked it. They might have gone back to the drawing board after the game, the day after, and thought, you know what, didn't really think it's going to work in the Premier League. You might get away with it against lesser teams, etc. So I believe it was a little bit of an experiment. I believe that you couldn't experiment. As I said, I don't believe you could take that chance in the league. Certainly where we are at the moment in the league. So it was a good chance to look at a different system and see if it's something going forward we might implement in the league. And there were a lot of positives. But
maybe it worked better because it was Europe as well.
Well, I was just about to say there was a big gaping hole in midfield where if you're playing against quite a compact, narrow Premier League side, you're not going to get that kind of space. You said yourself the space and the time that we had. I mean, you probably didn't learn a lot from that formation against Rangers, to be honest. And if we go against Arsenal tomorrow with the same formation, thinking, do you know what, we kind of worked out a good formation that we can use, we might get our asses kicked thinking it's going to work against Arsenal the way it did against Rangers. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him revert back to what he knows best tomorrow.
Well, whatever formation he goes with, we've got to play better than we did against Rangers. Because although we won the game and we played okay, and, we looked okay in moments and we dominated the game. And yes, we had Núñez had lots of shots on goal and we created a lot of chances. Their goalkeeper made 3 or 4 world-class saves in that. But I still think we need to play better. If we're going to beat Arsenal tomorrow, we have to play better. And I don't think it's impossible tomorrow to beat Arsenal, but we're going to have to be at the very top of our game because they're flying at the moment, and we can't go there passive. We have to be very aggressive and the intensity has to be right. I think we'll know in the first moments what kind of game we're going to have tomorrow, the way we start the game. What I just wanted to touch on quickly with Rangers, just and then finish with this Rangers stuff. I like what Klopp did when he subbed Trent Arnold at the end to give him that standing ovation.
Yeah.
And it reminded me a bit of what Benitez used to do with Gerrard. When Gerrard was having a tough time in the press and all that, Benitez used to sub him towards the end of a game to give him a standing ovation. Yeah. And it just shows you that, I mean, that was when Benitez was there, you're talking about 15 years ago now. But management hasn't changed that much. Managers still do things like that.
Yeah, because a lot of management is man management. It's mental management. It's not, setting out a team or setting out a formation, etc. is only part of the game.
Yeah,
a lot of
looking
people
after
can do that.
People, isn't it?
A lot of people can do that. Being able to man manage and manipulate the crowd, or these are some they're gifts. Not every manager can do it. You know what I mean? So
no.
It was recognised, as you said. It was a good idea, and let's just see. Where it goes. 7 years today, by the way. Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool manager.
Yeah. There was a great video that I shared that came from Twitter from the Redmen TV.
So
big shout out to them, man, because that was a good video, and it just showed the stuff that Klopp has done. It's the transformation in us is unbelievable. It really is, But listen, anyway, let's get on to tomorrow's game now. So,
just before we move on, you talk about the transformation in us. He's done a fantastic job, and we've won everything. There's players there that are in their early 20s that have won every competition that they are able to win. But under Rodgers, we were very, very close to something spectacular. So yes, he's done very well, but that's maybe for another program. The shortfalls or the where we're at the moment. We'll talk about that for another time, because we're treading on some very thin ice at the moment, I think. So yes, he's done fantastically well.
Yeah,
it's been a fantastic purple period, but I'm not happy with what we've got to show for it
this season.
No, last 2 or 3 seasons. Last season we ended up we won a league. This is the best it's been for 20 years, and we won a league and a Champions League and an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup. I would have liked us to won another league. I've said before, even on here, great teams win multiple titles. Not one, they win multiple titles, cup competitions, Champions League finals. I get it. If it doesn't go for you on the day, then. But leagues. This team has been as good as it's been for, like I said, 20 years, and we're in a situation now where they can do what Blackburn did or Leicester did, or and win one league. But that's, as I said, let's leave that.
No, I agree. We do have. There are some issues at Liverpool currently. We know that, but
on to tomorrow. Big game.
So big game. Well, look, we need to win the game. Arsenal, they need to win for themselves as well if they want to stay top and all that stuff. But I think we need to win it. We have to win. Next week we've got Man City. So these 2 games are huge. And if we win these 2 games, which is not impossible. It's possible, maybe not probable that we win both games. But if we can, then we're looking at with still having the game in hand as well. We're almost back up there again. So this is huge for Liverpool. This is huge.
It is huge because, as you said, next 2 weeks, the best 2 teams in the league at the moment. It's more than that anyway. Take the points away from it. There's there's some self-respect. There's there's
Yeah, it'll definitely shut a few people up anyway if we won the next two games.
We've turned into, like we said earlier, how do you go from a team that's gone to the max last season to mid-division almost this season? I mean, if we don't win tomorrow, if Arsenal beat us tomorrow, should I say, I mean, they're going to be a mile ahead of us. Man City are going to be a mile ahead of us. Spurs, I mean, Chelsea today, I watched a little bit of that game and I admire their manager so much because he's a man manager. He's a humble manager. He's a manager that doesn't make it about himself. All of a sudden, he's made his squad bigger than what Tuchel had by bringing in the likes of Chalobah and another goalkeeper and Pulisic and they're going to be up there. So we've got to get our asses into gear very, very quickly. And big players have to make big statements. I mean, of our big players this season, I think the only one that's made a big statement this season, two players, and one of them wouldn't have been a big player had things not happened the way they'd happened. But Alisson's been fantastic.
Yeah.
And Firmino, who's the one that I thought wouldn't be a big player anymore, has been fantastic. But the rest of them, Salah has been awful. Van Dijk has been awful. Fabinho has been awful. Now, Fabinho, you could be a little bit, you dissect it enough. That bloke's been quite exposed. So the reason he has been, poor might be because of his exposure. But watching Brighton last week, Van Dijk, there's a ball coming into the box and he's, stuck a leg out on it and made a crap attempt to clear it and they equalise. I mean, that's you can't defend that. There's no reason for me to say Van Dijk was unlucky or this. And you know what? And they're getting criticised, and they should get fucking criticised because, we've set very high standards. Very high standards.
Yeah, and I think if you listen to the players, they're honest. They know they're not playing well.
Yeah, but they've got to do something about it. I mean, I was talking to someone the other day, and he was telling me, let's beat Rangers tonight and let's start our season tonight. I was like, hold up a minute. We fucking beat Bournemouth 9-0, whatever it was. Why didn't we start our season that day? So we're very stop-start, which is shit at the moment.
It really surprises me because I remember watching the Charity Shield, the Community Shield, and I watched our performance against Man City, and it was brilliant. We played so well that day. I mean, we had the intensity. We were up for it. We were winning all them 50-50s. Then Nunes comes on and he made an impact. And I thought to myself, we're going to be all right this season. And then I don't know what's happened since that game.
Well, I mean, the
first game.
They haven't played many games. They haven't played many games. For me, personally, the things that I've seen, and maybe what he's worked out now, is Carvalho's not ready. Harvey Elliott's not ready. As much as you think he's a good footballer, which he has the potential to be, he's weak on the ball. These players aren't ready to we're talking about a team that has lost 2 league titles in the last 4 years by a point. We're talking about a team that's been to 2 Champions League finals. We're talking about a team that went to every game maximum possible last year. Okay, now, for whatever reason, Wijnaldum, Mane, we're not replacing these players with Carvalho and Harvey Elliott today. Come on. You know what I mean? Don't kid yourself because that's why we're
yeah, no, I don't. I think that's okay. So Mane, I think the replacement for Mane has worked out to be Diaz. Nunes was not the replacement for Mane. Nunes was. I don't say you said that. I'm not saying you said that. Wijnaldum, they've never replaced Wijnaldum. I think what Klopp has done is he took a gamble that Curtis Jones or Oxlade-Chamberlain would have stepped up and made that improvement and nailed that place down, but they haven't done that. And their injury sort of record has been exposed. And I think that's the mistake, coupled with mental, emotional fatigue from last season and the impact of last season. I think those are the reasons why the team is looking the way it is, as well as the fact that what Klopp is trying to do. He's trying to transform the team now. He's trying to build another team while maintaining these incredibly high standards, and it's difficult.
It's not difficult. It's difficult with the purse strings that we seem to give him.
So he needs to get some money. He needs to get some money as well.
Okay, they spent a fair whack on Núñez. Now, we're talking about a team that have challenged for the league for the last 4 years. We're talking about a team that's won Champions Leagues, and I like Harvey Elliott, I like Carvalho, but they're not ready. They're not ready.
No.
They're Carabao Cup players for the time being, an FA Cup. And, if you're winning the game, bring them on and bleed them in and blah, blah, blah. They're not going to win you fucking leagues or bleed and challenge Man City. It's just not going to happen. Okay? Now, forgive me for getting, we've gone and bought this fucking Arthur from Barcelona. He's out by
Juventus.
Well, he was at Barcelona. He's out now for 4 months. He ain't going to fucking kick a ball for us, because there's been kind of, smutterings about, they don't like him and they're going to get rid of him. I'm reading today that he's injured and he's going to have surgery and he's out for 4 months. He got injured in training on Monday. Well, now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But, come on, man. Go and make a fucking signature signing. Go and buy a signature signing. Go out there and, make a statement. We are here. We've arrived, and we're here to stay. Not sell one of the best players in the Premier League for the last 3 or 4 seasons and expect kids and others to do his job. I mean, how have we not bought a midfielder? How have we not bought a midfielder? We're lucky, because I think there's 4 or 5 games to go now until the World Cup. Maybe 5 or 6 games until the World Cup. Okay, we've got Man City, we've got Arsenal, and then we come back on Boxing Day, and then you probably play another game after that, and then the transfer window opens. They might go and buy, but what we spent and the money that's come into that club to go out and bring Arthur in, I mean, it's bullshit. It really is. I mean, that was so poor of the club that knew that Curtis Jones injury prone. Thiago, by the way, didn't train yesterday. Do not be surprised if Thiago does not play tomorrow. Thiago did not take part in training yesterday. Okay? So Fabinho, Henderson, where's the playmaker? Where's the extra man in midfield if you want to change things? It's poor. And that's why we're at. I mean, you can't do things like have a great squad 2 or 3 seasons ago, and we've got a good cover in defence. Haven't got cover for Trent. I know the young boy from Aberdeen may well be good enough in time to come. He hasn't kicked the ball for us yet. Tsimikas can do a job for Robertson. We've got Konate, Matip, Van Dijk, Gomez, which is adequate. But all of a sudden, we've lost this, this sharpness, and like you said, tomorrow we'll see in 5 minutes, Martinelli might be roasting Trent like he did last season. I remember the Carabao Cup games that we went to last season, and he was having a torrid time against Martinelli, and that was when Trent was on form, playing well. So he worries me tomorrow, and we have to make a big statement tomorrow, no doubt. I mean, we are so far behind. Teams like Man City can afford to draw with us next week. We can't afford to draw another game until the World Cup, really. If we want to, be in the mix, there's teams here that are consistently winning games, and we've won 2 league games so far. There's no consistency there at all. So Salah needs to get his shooting boots on. Núñez needs to start getting a bit of aggression, because Arsenal believe. I mean, their stadium's packed all of a sudden. All their fans have come out of the woodwork. People that we know that haven't been to games for 10 years are buying tickets at 10 o'clock at night the night before to get to games.
Let's shout out to Reggie, Cop Talk subscriber. We're talking about you.
But and fair play to them, because they, 4 seasons ago, we began to see the beginning of a juggernaut. Okay, that's the truth. We saw this juggernaut coming along, and we thought, wow, and maybe they're feeling the same way now. You know what I mean? Whether they do or don't, but tomorrow will be a very, very interesting, an interesting game. Not because Arsenal and Liverpool's always an interesting game, but they're going to work out where they're at tomorrow, and we are going to work out where we're at. I mean, because if we get beat tomorrow convincingly, then we've got huge problems. If we get beat convincingly tomorrow, we have got huge problems, because that tells me that the trouble is deeper than just results, because we know we're 10 points, whatever it is, behind Man City already. We know we've only won 2 games. We know that Arsenal are second in the league tonight. You don't need a bigger incentive than that. But what we're starting to lose is the kudos, the respect, slowly. Last year when we played Arsenal in that Carabao Cup, we turned up, and your Martinellis, your Odegaards, your Sakas, your Smith Rowes, they were like men against boys. We were kind of in their heads. We were 1-0 up just by our stature. And what we've lost overnight is that what we're losing overnight is this stature that we had, and that's very worrying, because Man City have had it for, a while, and they're not losing it. They're making it stronger. Arsenal's is growing. Spurs is growing through the Conte effect. I mentioned Graham Potter and Chelsea a little bit earlier. Theirs is growing. And all I've seen ours do is just crumble for the last 3 or 4 weeks, beginning of the season. And we're losing this, this fortress where everyone was scared of us. And we've got to regain that very quickly, because mentality is a huge thing. We've watched many a game together and at Anfield, and teams turned up and they were mentally 1-0 down before the game started. And I'm losing this feeling this season already. And Klopp spoke about the atmosphere the other night, and the fans. They need to. Well, we're in a big situation, a big situation. Do we win tomorrow? Are we capable of winning tomorrow? 100%. Do we win tomorrow? If this was last season, I wouldn't have batted an eyelid. The fact they've improved and we've got.
Well, we did a cop talk last season with my mate Courtney, the Arsenal fan. You remember? And it was before the game last season, and he was quietly confident. I remember he said, and we won that game, and we were confident that we were going to win. I mean, look, if you're looking at form, then Arsenal will win tomorrow. If it goes to form, Arsenal are playing much better than we are. There's no doubt about that. But I just kind of feel that, this is a game where, okay, for the first time now, we can take a positive result with the momentum of that result and clean sheet into another game. And I think Liverpool will turn up tomorrow. Whether we can win is another thing.
But no, not whether we can win.
No, whether we win, sorry. Whether we do win.
The firepower we have, we can beat any team.
Yeah.
But for
whether we do it or not.
For some strange reason, we're not being able to put a game together. And, I'm worried because, as we said, when we beat Bournemouth, that was going to be the right. We're going to kick on now. Now we beat Rangers, we're going to kick on now. I mean, the camaraderie between our players looked good the other day.
Yeah, I think there's not a... Listen, we've started poorly. That's all that's happened. And I still have a belief that they can turn it round, but obviously they're going to need to start proving it. And tomorrow they have to start that. And they have to win, really. All right. If they don't win and don't lose, it's not the end of the world. But we need the 3 points, really. We need the 3 points, really.
I think it is the end of the world, if I'm honest, because we're drawing too many games. We played 7.
No, I get that. If we draw, it's not ideal.
No. But me and you had this conversation last September when we played Chelsea at home, and they went down to 10 men in the first half, and we drew 1-1. And I said to you, that's bullshit. You've got to beat 10 men over an hour. And you say, it's only September. Blah. And if we beat Chelsea that day, we would have gone on to win the league. What's happening in football today is every single result matters, whether it's the first game of the season or the last game of the season. And, we're already playing catch up. Now, to put dents in, I want, in an ideal world, obviously 6 points over the next 2 games. And then all of a sudden, the feel-good factor's back, Liverpool back. Okay?
That's what I want to.
4
That's
points,
what I want to.
Not the end of the world. 3 points, not good enough. 2 points, crap. So those players need to step up, man. I mean, Salah signed that new contract, and you fucking give him 400 grand a week, that boy. And
but he hasn't stopped trying. I actually think he's trying too hard.
Don't know, man.
I think he's trying too hard, and he's snatching at chances, and he's trying to make sure in a lot of things. When he first hit the scene running, he was a very instinctive striker. He would just go for his stuff. Now he's second guessing things because he wants to make certain that he does it. I think with him and Nunes, what I'm seeing with them, if they can just relax a little bit, they will be fine. Nunes, I'm very impressed with him. I like him a lot, and I think he's a young player. He's only 22. He's going to be huge for us, but he hasn't hit the ground running like Haaland has for City. But when you looked at the Community Shield, he scored, and Haaland had missed a couple of chances, and everyone was criticising Haaland. Now everyone's kissing his backside, saying he's the best thing since sliced bread, and they're saying Nunes is Andy Carroll. So this is how fickle football is. I think I have faith in Nunes. I think he's going to be a good player for us, but he needs, like you say, he needs to find his shooting boots, because if he does, he'll start to score a hatful of goals because he gets a lot of chances in games.
Just find that Salah, even the other day against Rangers, who were gifting so much space to everyone. Last 3 or 4 seasons when Salah was cutting in from the right, and it was I remember the goal he scored against Chelsea when I was at the game, and the other day against Rangers, those curling shots, they were so powerful, they were so precise, they were so fast, they were so accurate, and he got that kind of space. You thought, wow, it was either going to be a goal or a world-class save. Now it's going over the bar, it's fucking deflecting off someone's head and going. It's not very.
I know what you're saying.
Man. That that bloke has played at a very high level. He's been Golden Boot winner for the last how many years. He's very sharp, but it just seems to be that everyone at Anfield, at Liverpool, at the moment is playing with no fucking chalk on their cue, man. I don't get it. What I mean?
I think their confidence levels are down. They're not playing at their levels that they've been hitting the past few seasons, definitely. But they will turn it around. They're not going to be a bad team overnight. They're not going to be a bad team.
But that's not what we're talking about. If they don't get their asses into gear quickly, as I said, if Arsenal get a point tomorrow, they'll be happy. We've lost. Okay, we've taken 2 points off Liverpool. We're up there with the big boys. One of the big games gone. Okay, if we don't beat Man City next week, Man City couldn't give a flying fuck. You know what I mean? Man City are, they're so far ahead they can afford to draw a game or two.
Yeah.
We've got to make statements now. There's no denying. I mean, they've got players that can hurt us. We'll talk about Arsenal a little bit. Saka last week was very, very good. Odegaard's their playmaker.
Martinelli, Jesus.
Well, I mean, Martinelli. Look, Jesus played against Liverpool under Man City many a times.
He always scores.
Well, I don't think he's had many good
No,
games.
not always,
Us.
but he's scored.
No, I don't think. No. I don't think he's had many good games against us at all as a Man City player.
But he scored. He's always scored against us quite regularly.
Fabinho should take care of someone like Odegaard. Martinelli versus Trent is a battle that I worry about because Trent's not playing well, but he played well the other day. He will know that he's been in the game tomorrow because I don't need to remind him about the Carabao Cup last season. He knows he's going to get bombed down that. So he should be going to sleep tonight thinking I need to be fucking on it tomorrow.
But what do you think about my suggestion, what I said last time? Put Trent in midfield and play someone behind him like a Gomez.
But they can't do that now, man. These things you're talking about, you can't, these are the kind of experiments that could cost you Champions League football.
But Trent plays midfield all his young career.
I get it. But
he's an intelligent footballer.
And on paper, it's a fantastic idea. But football isn't played on paper. It's played on a football pitch. Now, we've all got great ideas. I've heard people talk about three at the back. I've heard people talking about Jota and Nunes up front together, big man, small. I've heard, but that's for another time. Teams like Man City, Arsenal, if you like, in today's environment, they can experiment a little bit. We're too far behind now. Now we've got to go back to the drawing board and go back to basics. There's no time for bright ideas anymore because Linders, Klopp, anyone else at Liverpool, Henderson may have great ideas, as I said, on the whiteboard with a fucking pen or on a bleeding bit of paper. Fantastic. What a great idea. But if you can't make it happen on a football pitch, that's another 3 points drop or another 2 points drop. And we're nowhere near that at the minute. Who do you think
starts tomorrow?
Oh, Alisson, obviously in goal. Trent will play. Matip, Van Dijk, Tsimikas. Going into that Tsimikas thing, by the way, I had a little thought the other day. You know what? I don't even think Andy Robertson's injured. I've got this funny feeling that they've realised how burnt out he is. And they didn't want to say you were going to have a little bit of an injury or a little bit of a break or, do you know what, have 3 weeks off, go on holiday, keep low key, no Instagramming, no whatever, go have a break, recharge your batteries and come back. And I think that could have been what's happened. That geezer was, was running on empty. So obviously Tsimikas will play tomorrow. I haven't been overly impressed with Tsimikas over the last couple of games. I think he's
had a great goal line clearance against Rangers, though.
Okay, I'm not worried. Okay, that's fine. But we're as a Liverpool fan, and the way we play, and the way we manage the ball so much, I want to see him making chances at the other end, and I haven't seen him make any chances at the other end at the moment. Any assists, okay, from a corner. But so, yeah, I'd like to see him do a little bit more of that. Fabinho, I'm sure, will come back into the team. As I said, Thiago didn't train like he's injured. He didn't train yesterday. Precautionary, who knows?
Let's hope so.
If Henderson
will play, then
if Henderson and Thiago play, then it'll be Salah on the right, Diaz on the left. And, I mean, he's got a tough decision. I mean, that middle man, Firmino's done nothing wrong. Always scores against Arsenal. Jota's another man that always seems to score against Arsenal.
I think he'll go with the same team as Rangers. I have a feeling.
But then it's that formation again, and we haven't used it in the Premier League at all. So
Arsenal will.
In Klopp's
eyes,
it may
give Arsenal something to think about.
Okay, but in Klopp's eyes, a draw isn't the end of the world. In Klopp's eyes, if we lose, it's tragic. So I don't know, mate. I mean, I fully believe that was experimental against Rangers the other day. They've had a chat about it at training and decided to go with that formation. On paper, again, it looks fantastic. It looks very exciting. If we play 4-3-3, let's do two teams. The back five stays the same. If we play 4-3-3, I expect it to be Thiago, Fabinho, and Henderson. I believe Thiago will play. because they haven't mentioned an injury. It might have been a little tweak or a little bit of tiredness, perhaps. So if it's 4-3-3, I think that'll be the midfield. I think it'll be Salah on the right. I think it will be Diaz on the left, and I think Jota will play if it's a 4-3-3. That's my opinion. If it's 4-2-3-1, I think it will be. I mean, in the midfield's a question. I mean, you can't really leave Fabinho out of your team.
No, Fabinho has to play. Thiago will have to play. And then I think it will be, I would say he'll put Firmino, Diaz, Salah, and then either Jota or Nunez up front.
So no Henderson.
No Henderson.
Yeah, I think if that's the case,
and then maybe bring Henderson on if Thiago's feeling a knock or whatever. And if we're doing all right, and then that gives us a bit of solidity again. I think that'll be the team I would go with.
We're not just guessing 11 now. We're guessing formations as well. Yeah, because we've seen a different formation.
Let's see what happens.
In my opinion, he's going to go 4-3-3. That I believe that's going to be.
Yeah,
I think
you're probably right. I think you're probably right, but I would like to see him go with that same formation that he played against Rangers, because I just think it makes us a bit more solid and a bit more compact.
I agree, but we need legs in midfield. You're not going to get the space or the time or the gaps that you got at home to Rangers as you will away to Arsenal. Mate, that stadium is going to be fucking heaving tomorrow.
Yeah, and Arsenal, Arsenal are going to come for us.
And exactly.
And that's going to help us.
And that's going to be, and the stadium's going to be rocking tomorrow, mate. Believe me, that team believe there's things happening there.
Yeah.
Their fans believe there's things happening there, and rightly so. They've had a good start to the season.
Yeah.
He seems to have got rid of some dead wood, some bad eggs, and he seems to have got a tune out of the players that he's brought in, and the ones that were a little bit stagnant. So it's going to be the big.
It's going to be a tough game. There's no mistake about it. It's always tough.
We're talking about my 4-3-3 that we just spoke about.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about World Cup winners. We're talking about Champions League winners. We're talking about Premier League winners. We're talking about gods of football in their God-given countries. Okay. These players are full of maturity. There's no reason to go to Arsenal and be like a fish out of water. There's no reason for that. We've got to.
I don't think they will be. I don't think they will be. I think they've been to these stadiums before. I think the atmosphere won't bother them. I think what's going to be important is how we begin the game. Do we begin the game passing the ball well, looking aggressive enough in the challenge, intense? Do we start like that? If we start like that, we'll be all right.
I just hope people like that. For me, Van Dijk's been very, very disappointing, tremendously disappointing, because he carries a lot of stature, a lot of the defence, a lot of the midfield kind of look for his, his guidance and his help and all the rest of it. And, people like him need to up his game a little bit now. Salah needs to up his game. Fabinho needs to up his game. Listen, as I said, you don't lose the league by a point and become a bad team because you lose one player. So I'm hopeful tomorrow. I'm expecting us to make a statement tomorrow that Liverpool haven't gone away. It's not Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham and Chelsea for the top four or whatever. We are going to be there. It looks like we've gone from challenging for the league to challenging for the top four. That's where we're at today. The truth is, at the moment,
on current form, yes, that's where we're at.
Exactly. At the
and
moment,
expectations, but that can change.
At the moment, we're going for the top four.
All right. Well, let's see what happens tomorrow.
I'm disappointed that we haven't brought in players but let's get the next couple of games out of the way, get some momentum, get some form, and see what happens. But enjoy the game, man. It's going to be a good one.
Let's do one tomorrow evening to to catch up afterwards.
Let's do one tomorrow evening. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Liverpool win tomorrow.
All right. Well, I'll take that. I'll agree with you.
Okay, let's
never disagree with Yas. Always right.
Nah, not always.
All right. Good chatting, man.
Take care, man. All the best.
Take care, man. Thanks. Bye. Bye.